Hello everyone, I hope all is well. I want to say thanks for joining me. Now, I want to make a connection between Boston and Jamaica. When you think about Boston, one event that almost comes to mind, the Boston Tea Party. On the evening of December the 16th, 1773, a group of American colonists, frustrated with British rule, boarded 3 ships anchored in the harbour. Disguised as Mohawk men, they broke open 342 chests of tea and dumped them into the water. This wasn't an act of vandalism for the sake of destruction. It was a political protest. The colonists were protesting taxation without representation. Britain had imposed taxes on the American colonies, yet the colonists had no elected representative in the British Parliament. To them, it was a question of fairness, freedom, and the right to govern. That single night became a defining moment leading to the American Revolution and ultimately the birth of the United States. But here's a part of the story often not given more attention. The tea throne in Boston Harbor was part of a much larger system, a vast British empire that stretched across the Atlantic. The empire connected London, Boston, Jamaica, and other colonies through trade, finance, and political control. As I walked through Boston, the waterfront area that is, I began asking myself a simple question. What does the Tea Party have to do with Jamaica? The answer is far more significant. Jamaica was Britain's wealthiest colony during the 18th century. The sugar produced by enslaved Africans sweetened the tea consumed throughout the empire, including here in Boston. Ships sailed regularly between New England and Jamaica, carrying timber, fish, livestock, sugar, molasses, rum, and coffee. These waters were not barriers between our history. They were the highways that connected them. So today, this is simply not a tour of Boston. It is another opportunity to explore how one of America's most famous historical events is also a part of Jamaica's story, and how decisions made centuries ago continue to shape our societies today. It's roughly after 5 now, but if you come to certain places and you present and you listen to speakers, I think it's good to have a time when you can just reflect on the beauty of another state. I've never been to this area, and Boston is beautiful, really. Beautiful. Rained all day, so we couldn't go anywhere, and it's just one of the beauties of it. There's a boat getting ready to do a city cruise. I'm not going to go on that because I'm a guy who likes to be at his house in the night, doesn't like to stay out at all. But this is going to go out. It's going to go out on a cruise, and it's just magnificent. I say to myself, at this point I have to bring out my 360 because it deserves a shot. Honestly, I could not continue this journey if I did not bring my 360 camera to take out and get a 360 view of this. This is just magnificent. As I look around across the Boston Harbor, it's remarkable to think that these same waters carried ships whose destinations included Kingston and Montego Bay. History suddenly becomes real. This isn't just Boston's story. Part of it belongs to Jamaica too. Since my flight was delayed the next day, I decided to do something else. I decided to go to the Money Museum and do another walk around and even visit another museum too. So here I am at the first museum. I call it the Money Museum.
And make the US dollar a stable currency. I had to start by solving a big problem. To fight and win the Revolutionary War, our nation borrowed money by issuing bonds. Because the war was expensive, we didn't have the money to pay our lenders back. Those original wartime bonds, which means no one...
So walking through the Money Museum reminded me that money is never just about coins or banknotes. Money tells a story. It tells who controls the trade. It tells who sets the rules, who becomes rich or wealthy, who remains poor. Those questions shaped Jamaica centuries ago. They continue to shape our lives. So as I walked through, I was able to see even the national debt of United States and those individuals who are owing money. Some might have not been born yet. It defined what is a bank. It told about the Industrial Revolution, the ventures that United States have undergone. Also highlights the financial mishap and how Boston developed. There are so many things that this little one walk through gave me knowledge about this area. It talked about the recession. It talked about innovation. It talked about being financial responsible. It talked about insurance. It talked about so many things and building financial wealth and saving. It talked about compound interest. It talked about so many things that even a child going through could understand what it means. This is a history lesson about money, financial wealth, industrial revolution, the Great Recession and depressions that United States have undergone. And of course, when United States sneeze, the world catches a cold, of course. But this was rewarding. I enjoyed every ounce of this engagement. It was worth the delay on the plane, right? I was delayed for roughly 4 hours, and using this time to educate myself about something that makes connections to the Western Hemisphere is so important. Because here we have it, compound interest. Yes, Boston was very famous for its shipping, its construction, its navigation, and it was quite fitting that I would have visited this place. You see, I love model ships. Just to look at them, see the dedication people have spent to ensure that every detail of these ships and boats are replicated. I was just in awe. As a matter of fact, I saw one boat selling for $23,000. And I had to really spend time and just admire the craftsmanship. All outlined there. And this was absolutely free. I enjoyed just walking around and just looking at these models. Yes, this was history being captured right here. And it's something that I want to really go and look further on. I did take a description of each and ensure that I would have that narration for myself in the future. But just imagine walking into a space that you can actually see a replica of something that existed before. You can't get it better here. So my time here was just to capture it, and someone said go inside and have a look, and that's what I was doing. I enjoyed every ounce of this visit, just looking at the details of these vessels that once sailed our shores. Some might have gone to Jamaica eventually, because Boston was the heart of it, as stated before. It was everything happening in Boston. There's a connection, because Boston became also known as the heart of education. Harvard University was founded in 1636. Centuries later, I'm sure that many Jamaicans have gone to that institution and have gained knowledge and gone back. Now, let me tell you that thousands of Jamaicans still call Massachusetts their home. They have been educated there. They are nurses there, engineers, and business people also. So it was a wonderful day out here, because I tell you this, when I looked at these models, I was just fascinated by them. I had my soul filled by just looking at these things. It brought back a historical insight that these vessels shaped the Caribbean. Many of them sailed to the Caribbean. Many of them sailed with forbidden cargo that they should never have sailed with to the Caribbean. So it was a history of Boston, yes, fishery, and the whole aspect of what went on. There you have it, history in just one little space. I would say I got my heart filled just learning about what happened during this time period. Truly amazing. Yes, this is the Boston Fisheries Museum. Yes, I must say that I had some wonderful food in Boston. I enjoyed the cuisine, and honestly, it was just great. I also did some walk around one evening and I heard a Jamaican reggae band playing. Yes, I was fascinated by it. The music was nice, but I'm not going to make you listen because you know how YouTube behaves when they hear other music and I do not have the rights. But it was just a wonderful time just walking around and hearing the Jamaican band playing. You know what? Jamaicans are everywhere. It's good to hear the sound of music, but they seem to be having a festival here. One thing I've learned from traveling is this: places rarely exist in isolation. What happened here often shapes what happened back home. Understanding these connections help us to understand ourselves. History isn't about memorizing dates. It's about discovering why our world looks the way it does today. So the next time someone mentions Boston Tea Party, remember this: it wasn't just only about tea. Hidden behind the famous story are ships that sailed to Jamaica, sugar that sweetened the tea, rum that fueled an economy, and an empire whose decisions still echo across the Caribbean. Sometimes history isn't thousands of miles away. Sometimes it's connected by the very same sea that joins us. Thanks for watching. And remember, always remember that history creates a pathway to the future. That's all for now.